first time you pick up a new watch, the beginning honeymoon phase is real. However, over time, the feeling starts to become a little stale. To freshen up the palette again, the best thing you can possibly do is explore some strap options for your watch. Straps are kind of like shoes for your outfit. They can completely change up the look of your entire outfit, and based on the occasion, could be best suited to what the day has in store for you. In this video, we're going to take one watch and strap it on a variety of watch straps to give you some inspiration and ideas that you can use the next time you're thinking about picking up a strap or two when you feel like it's time to freshen up the look of your watch. Before we dive into the strap options I have for you today, there are a few things we need to think about when choosing a strap. First off, we need to start with a clean slate. For this example, I'm going to be using a pretty accessible but handsome watch, Seiko 5 Sports in black with the faux lume hour markers, reference SRPD 95. I chose this watch because of its fairly neutral colorway with the pop of red you can see on the tip of the second hand. Now your watch doesn't necessarily have to be a neutral color for it to look good, but it is a lot easier to nail down when pairing color straps we'll get into later in this video. Second, we need to think about the day's occasion we are headed into. Are we going out into the city for an afternoon lunch, or are we heading into something that requires a bit of heavy lifting? Keeping this in mind is a way to decide which strap is suitable for the occasion. The last thing to keep in mind is that rules are made to be broken. There is no right or wrong when pairing up straps to your watch. In the end, straps can be used as an expression of the wearer. So whatever works with your individual style is all up to you. Kicking off the list is my favorite type of strap, the good old NATO strap. NATO straps are great because they come in an endless array of colors, and the best part is that they can easily be swapped quickly without the use of any tools. Let's take a look at some options that work with this Seiko 5 here. For literally any watch, a black and gray NATO will always work. We have one here with a pure black NATO, a gray NATO, and why not? Add both with a classic Bond style NATO. This is an easy styling route you can take for your watch and can add a sporty look. When in doubt, just stick with these colors and you're golden. Now let's take this concept a bit further and pair up some colors that are featured on the dial. The faux tinted hour markers give off a creamy color tone, so let's add a creamy NATO color strap to this. I think this combo looks amazing. It isn't a bright white, so it isn't so stark, and also gives off a totally different vibe. To me, the watch looks a bit more poetic rather than a typical rugged look NATOs usually give off. Let's have a little fun now. I see there's a pop of red on the tip of the second hand, so let's add this faded red NATO. As you can see, red is a very strong color, but because it ties in with that pop of red on the watch, can really accent that particular design feature. Now going even further, maybe you want to do something bold and add a bit of color for those summer days. This seafoam green strap has no ties to any design element on the watch, but to me, I think it works really well. It definitely draws more attention to your wrist, but I can see this working really well in the summer or even in the wintertime, when the season calls for a pop of color. Also, because we're working with a neutral color palette with the Seiko 5, it doesn't clash with any of the colors on the watch. If NATO straps are too rugged, or if you're headed out to a more buttoned up occasion, the mighty Perlon strap might be your answer. Perlon strap is similar to NATO in that it doesn't require any tools to strap onto your watch, and is made from the same nylon material. The only difference is that the strap is braided, that allows for more airflow, and also this is a great alternative if you're in between wrist sizes because there are no preset holes. So you can simply buckle it in anywhere on the strap, which is convenient. I have this gray Perlon with beige undertones, and I think it pairs really well with the Seiko 5. You'll notice that Perlons are less bulky than a NATO, and this is partially due to its single pass-through design. So this is a really good option for watches that are thicker to keep the bulk down. Perlons make for a great strap for those hot days when your wrist might get sweaty. Because of its loose braided designs, it promotes airflow, keeping your wrist somewhat dry while still looking sharp. The sportiest strap you could possibly go with has to be the rubber strap. If you're going on serious underwater adventures, or if you know you'll be going in the water, a rubber strap might be your best option. This Seiko 5 did originally come on this Milanese style silicone strap, which to be honest, I'm not a really big fan of. However, the quality of the rubber is pretty nice, and is definitely capable of going with you on a swim. I have a couple more options like this one here I grabbed off another Seiko watch that looks a little more subtle and less styled than the Milanese one. It's also a lot more substantial on the wrist and transforms the Seiko 5 into a professional looking dive watch. It may be a bit overkill for some, but I think it looks awesome. I also have this rubber Tropic strap, which really brings out a retro inspired look with this combo. I feel this rubber strap makes the most sense with the faux tinted hour markers and feels really comfortable on the wrist. Now a big downside to rubber straps you have to keep in mind is airflow isn't that great. So wearing rubber straps in the summer on land may result in sweaty wrists. Also, there are some rubber straps that take a while to break in and mold to your wrist. These three straps I have here are all very soft and supple, so just keep that in mind when looking for a rubber strap. If you like feeling a bit of heft on your wrist or straps just aren't your thing, you can't go wrong with a bracelet. Now, a thing to keep in mind when buying a watch, if there is an option to purchase a variant with a bracelet, be sure to get that option. Unless you really don't like wearing a bracelet, you can always purchase a strap and swap it out at any time. But with a bracelet, it's a little bit more complicated. It may be the more expensive option, but it'll be more expensive in the long run if you decide to purchase the bracelet separately at a later point. Also again, depending on the watch, there may be a few bracelet options from the manufacturer. Even aftermarket bracelets may not fit your watch perfectly due to a variety of factors like the watch's end link design. For the Seiko 5 here, we're really lucky to have a selection of bracelet options you can choose from. The classic Oyster style bracelet is what you're most commonly going to see on the majority of diver watches out there. This one from Seiko is their basic Oyster bracelet and feels pretty substantial with this combo. It's sporty and unassuming, which if you're going to live with no strap option, you can't go wrong with the mighty Oyster bracelet. Another common bracelet you'll see is a Jubilee style bracelet. This bracelet was made famous by the Rolex Datejust, and personally is my favorite style of bracelet. However, it isn't suitable for every watch. Because of the Jubilee bracelet's matted and high polish bits, it gives off an almost jewel-like appearance to it, which draws in your eyes a bit more rather than the Oyster's pure sporty nature. Paired here with the Seiko 5, it looks pretty good and really dresses it up. Ready for the office and even maybe a semi-formal event. Lastly, I decided to throw in a fun one with this mesh bracelet. It's similar in look to the rubber Milanese bracelet we saw earlier, but in stainless steel form. I'm actually a fan of this look, as it again plays on that retro sports watch aesthetic. Technically, this is a sports style bracelet, but I think nowadays it is seen as a stylized bracelet option. To me, this combo can elevate the look of your watch while giving an elegant vintage quality. Now, there are a bunch of other bracelet options out there, but these ones are the most common you're going to come across. Lastly, we got the classic leather strap options. Leather straps are going to be the most formal option out there. However, there are some leather straps that are built for everyday wear. One thing to keep in mind when pairing a leather strap with your watch, unlike the straps I mentioned before, leather isn't very friendly with water. It isn't ideal to get your leather straps soaked, but a splash here and there when washing your hands, let's say, is fine as long as you dry it off. Now, there are some enthusiasts out there that look down on leather straps paired with dive watches, since it defeats the toolish purpose of a dive watch altogether. But let's be honest, if you're pairing up a leather strap on any watch, you're probably not even thinking about taking it for a dive. Plus, there are some leather strap combos that look amazing on a dive watch. For the strap that can be worn both to the office and weekend adventures, I have the Seiko 5 here paired with this brown strap that picks up a bit of wear over time. The strap plays an almost hybrid role, crossing the line between formal and casual styling with the stitching and leather detail that picks up a bit of sensible patina. Sometimes when you get a strap in for the first time, you might find it to be a bit stiff. If this is the case, just give it time to soften up and it'll be a lot more supple, kind of like the case with leather shoes. Another leather strap option, if leather straps aren't really your thing, or if you just really love NATO straps like I do, a leather NATO strap is another great option to consider. I have this forest green leather single pass-through NATO strapped on, and I think it looks amazing. Again, because this watch is such a versatile canvas for straps, it's really hard to mess up strap color combos, especially neutral tones like this. One thing to keep in mind with leather NATO straps, and I'm just speaking from experience, is that it does add a bit of bulk to your watch when on your wrist. This is not necessarily a bad thing though. For instance, if you have a rather thin or dainty watch, and you're used to wearing larger watches on the wrist, a bulkier strap like a leather NATO can be a great tactic to add some girth to your watch. However, on the opposite end, if your watch is already thick to begin with, well, it's probably best to skip the strap option. Alright, this was a fun video that I've been meaning to create for you guys for a while now. Now keep in mind, there are a lot more straps and bracelets out there, but these ones are perhaps the most common you'll see out there in the wild, especially on watch enthusiasts. Now I want to know, what are your favorite straps? Maybe you have a go-to strap depending on the season or activity. Let me know in the comments below. For me, it has to be the trusty NATO. Whenever I'm in doubt of what strap to put on, I tend to resort to putting on a NATO strap, as it's convenient to strap on and suitable for a bunch of occasions. Also, I have some of the straps from this video linked in the description below, so be sure to check them out if you're interested. As always, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more watch-related content like this one, and for those of you joining me again, welcome back. I'm Chris from Clicky Bezel, and we'll see you on the next one.